thank you for watching The Forum. I'm your host, Ashley Tate, here with her co-host, Christy Largent, and she is over there. And we're here with our guest today, Christine MacShane.
Hi.
And she is the artist and owner of Studio 561.
Yes.
In Chico.
Yeah.
In Chico.
Yeah.
In Chico.
In Chico.
Yes, and so thank you so much for driving up.
No problem.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah.
I always say that because anytime there's a little bit more than a couple little things to say, I'm like, that's a mouthful. So tell us what Studio 561 is. Like, what do we have here? What's going on?
Okay, yeah, so 561 basically started because I was doing the paint and sip. So I've been teaching for quite a while, but I was doing some paint and sip about 4 years ago, and it became really apparent that I needed more of a location than I had.
And really quick, to interrupt you, tell us what a paint and sip is for our viewers.
Paint and sip.
Sipping.
Yes.
Whatever beverage you sip, you can sip it. And it's bring your own, you know, so.
That's great.
Yeah, and in fact, I had some people from Anderson and Reading down there this last week, so it's very accessible. But so you come in and it's a 2-hour period where I take you through a painting step by step, so you can be a beginner, and you'll come out with a painting much like you have here.
Wow.
And I try again to paint paintings that people would like to have in their home. That's not, you know, something that's, you know,
Right.
goes to the garage right away. Although I've heard that some do.
Now, are they generally this size?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. And
And it's 2 hours? How
2
long?
hours.
2 hours.
Yeah, I kind of could just keep you moving so that you don't overwork your piece or get focused on something that really doesn't need the solving that you think it needs. And we break down, you know, it's very community, it's a wonderful feeling in the place.
Okay, yeah.
And so a lot of our people have been coming for a while, really help everybody else, and by the end of it, you're all friends and we all have a great time. It's really hard to imagine that it's actually a job, but it's really not.
That's the best kind of job, right?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
So when did you get started painting? How did you know you were an artist?
Well, I was 12 and my mother had 7 children, and I guess I asked her one too many times, I want something to do. And so she brought me some oil paint, stuck me out, that's what we did back in the day, and stuck me outside, and that's when I started painting. It was very frustrating because I could see it in my head, but I could never make it happen. But there was just something about doing it, about the smell of the oil paint, that I thought, okay, I got this is mine, I have to have this. So
That's amazing.
yeah, I wasn't very good for a long time, but
That's okay, but you know what? That's a good testament to, because when you're saying, hey, you know, you come to our studio and I'm going to show you how to do this, I'm thinking to myself, I am not an artist,
Right.
I cannot do anything like this, and you're telling me that I can come out with something like that?
yeah, I mean, I essentially condense my 40 years of painting into 2 hours. So you're coming out like you're sweating. No, not really. You actually have a good time. And it's actually fun learning.
Yeah.
My goal is to remind people that art is fun. Because if you give a 10-year-old paints and say, go paint a house, they're like, oh, cool. And they'll paint a house. They're not going to ask you what color or is this right? Is my house leaning? Whatever. But you give a 30-year-old a paints and say, paint a house, they're like, but I don't know what a house looks like.
That's right.
I don't know which color, and I mean, we have
type of
blocked
house?
so
Yeah,
much of what we think we could, you know, it's not fun anymore.
Yeah.
So I kind of try to break that part down. If that's all I do, I'm good with that.
That's
yeah.
fantastic. That's actually very freeing. It sounds,
Yeah.
you know?
And we do flicking and splatting. Lots of stuff, yeah.
Oh my God.
That one's, once you get started with that.
Yeah, Jason Pollock, huh?
Yeah, that's
A
good.
little modern
Yeah.
art.
Oh,
Exactly.
wow.
So, so you started, but you don't sound like you're from Chico.
No, I'm originally from Australia. And then I came to America by way of New Zealand, and I've been here since '84.
A long time.
So I work hard to keep my accent.
Yeah.
So,
It doesn't
And
sound
how
like
did
it's
you
leaving you.
How did you land in Chico?
Well, my ex-husband was from here, so we moved up here and had my 2 children and 2 grandkids, and I'm still here.
That's great.
Hard to shake me.
So what other types of classes do you offer in your studio?
Well, we have an open studio, basically an open paint, so you can come in and use the studio as your own. So you can come in and do whatever you'd like. We also are offering pottery painting, which I don't believe in Chico there's anywhere else you can do it. So, you know, ceramics, and you can paint those.
Oh, wow.
We have that set up, and it's every Tuesday and Sundays at the moment, but we're hoping to be able to just have it like open time. And then we also have a gal who comes in and does felting classes. We have watercolor, and we've had sculpture and figure drawing. So different things come through at different times, trying to engage other artists to come in and teach. And I have a young gal who does, literally, she creates your very own paint your pet painting, and it's like paint by number, and I mean literally. I mean, it's your pet with 1, 2, 3,
Your
and
what?
you paint your pet.
P-I-T?
Paint your pet, P-E-T.
Oh, your
paint your
pet.
Oh, so your
paint
pet.
Yeah, your pet. Look,
Okay,
I know we
I'm
sound
sorry.
we sound so country. Did you hear how she changed it? She said, "Paint your pet."
Pet.
Your pet, yeah, sure.
So your dog or cat or bird.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's
interesting.
neat.
Yeah, so she does those once a
Oh.
month, and yeah, so she gives me a holiday, and she can take over the class.
So how many people do you have working for you then?
Well, I don't have. It's just me, but they all just come in and subcontract, do their
Yeah.
own. So it's
Nice.
I'm always looking for people who want to offer classes. Some people just offer once or twice, and some people do periodic and ongoing. Yeah.
So now, do you also make murals?
Yes.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about your murals and where you do that and how that comes about.
I do a lot of in-home and in businesses.
wow.
The latest large mural that I was part of was at In Motion Fitness in Chico, and they just did big running track murals. So I did like about 5 of those, and then I'm actually just about to start up here at the Turtle Bay, and I'll be doing in a hooker oak tree there between the new hotel and the entrance to the forest. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's going to be starting up probably in a month. I'll be starting there.
Now, how long do those take you? I mean, how do you add that into what you're already doing?
Right.
Yeah,
well, coffee comes into it. No, but really, it's just a matter of scheduling and kind of figuring out where I can kind of get chunks, and those sort of things you kind of have to pre-schedule so that I don't overfill my schedule for other things. But a lot of the little in-home things are quick.
And how long will it take to do like a mural like you're going to have at Turtle Bay?
Yeah.
I would say 3 days.
Oh, not too long.
Yeah, not
So
too
does your
long.
creativity, it's so hard for me, and you probably get this too, Chrissy, but your creativity sometimes comes in spurts. And I've heard a saying that you can't, focus on waiting for when your creativity's coming. You have to just do.
Well, I think the Chinese have the right philosophy. They don't believe that talent has as much to do with it as showing up and doing the work. And
I love that.
one of the things that I raised my children on my income that I made through art, and so. You have to be there. You can't, if someone calls up and asks you to do fairies in their nursery and you're feeling bad that day.
You better come up with happy
Suck it up,
fairies.
That's
right. And you can't
what I
draw.
tell myself.
Yeah, you can't paint evil fairies because
Exactly.
it's not going to kind of carry. So there's discipline, and you show up, and a lot of artists will do preliminary fun things just to get their artistic
flowing.
engine.
Okay.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and then it's just there. You're just always there.
Wow. So all this started from your mom being frustrated. I'm going to go get my daughter some oil paint.
Please do.
And I'm going to be, because I always say, gosh, can you go, the slime thing is kind of worn off.
Right.
Yeah.
So now we got to move on to something else.
Yeah.
Maybe
Well,
I'll try the oil
I would
paint.
suggest for kids watercolor because it comes out of clothing better. Acrylic paint, not quite so much.
Okay.
But there are, I would definitely do that.
So that's a great way to start. And then for parents at home that might be interested in doing something like that for themselves or for their children, you would say start with watercolor still, or
just
if
because
they can't get to your studio?
Yeah, well, they can
I
try.
know.
They should try.
Yes,
I have
show
a
out,
little-
people.
I have a back room you can sleep in. But so no, yes, I would say start with something like sketching, color pencils, watercolor, anything that kind of gets them engaged in that. Acrylic paint is really wonderful because it's very forgiving and you can paint over anything once it's dry. The problem is it doesn't come out of clothing. So then I would just say, here's your clothing you're going to wear when you paint.
Yeah.
And just let them be. And try not to tell them what to do. I really try to have parents step aside and not tell them that the sky should be blue. If they're going for a green sky, leave it.
I love that.
It should be their expression for that moment. I think otherwise it freezes up, like we were talking about. It freezes up that free flow of I can do this for later in life. I had a 70-year-old woman, I teach at the Cancer Center, and I had a 70-year-old woman after the class burst into tears because she said she'd been told by a teacher when she was 12 that she had no talent and not to pick up a brush again, and she hadn't.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
And here she was facing the end of her life, and she just realized how much she had missed because she found so much love and enjoyment in what she was doing. So my goal is to get people away from that in their life where they can, and to not infuse it in their children.
Now you were saying something about off camera. You were saying something about a show that you have that people could tune into and watch. Because I love the way that your philosophy on art. Excuse me. And I think a lot of people have been told that you're just not an artist.
Right.
I have.
Right. Well, and we categorize ourselves. Oh, my brother's the artist. So therefore I must not be. So therefore I must be the accountant.
That's right.
Right.
But not like the accountants have multiple things you can do. You can be an artist and an accountant.
Yes. So what is that show? Tell us a little bit about your show and what it is.
It's step-by-step acrylic painting with MacShane, and currently it's on it's cable channel 11 KIXE-TV. But I'm hoping to kind of
expand that. Okay. Into other regions.
In the North State.
Yes.
So what's been the most fun for you opening your studio? I mean, what have you enjoyed the most? What element of that is most rewarding for you?
I think the community that has created itself there. I've had people come in after someone has passed, I just want to sit here. I just want to absorb this. And then we're very supportive of each other, and it's just very positive. Yeah, and just seeing people embrace their own creativity is wonderful too. So.
That's pretty interesting, and I think the more we can encourage that in ourselves as well as in our children, the better it is for the community and the world, right?
Oh gosh, yeah.
Well, what a way to express yourself. When you have those balls of energy, it's like this has to come out somehow,
Right. Well, and I think the whole thing with the coloring has really enhanced that. When people are into coloring, and like we have a journaling Bible, right? So you can write in your Bible and color and draw and stuff, and you feel like those are ways that just our society is making it a little bit easier to be more creative.
Well, and I think if people go, okay, if I can do that, what else can I do?
Yes.
And
what's your website, Christine, as people want to know more?
Sure, it's at ChristineMacShaneArt.com.
Okay, Christine M-A-C-S-H-A-N-E, MacShane.com.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming up, and we'll look forward to visiting you next time we're in Chico.
Oh, please do.
And when you're by, be sure to swing by and say hi to Christine. So we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be right back for the second half of our show.
Hi, we're back, and we're still talking about creating things, and we're here with the owner of Busy Mind Creations, Raina Rhyme. And Raina, you have to tell us all about this because, Etsy, you're on Etsy, and Busy Minds Creations. You got to tell us what all is going on here.
Okay, I do rustic wedding and home decor.
Okay.
And these are the cake stands.
Which are
very
gorgeous.
popular. They're kind of like the bread and butter of my Etsy shop.
Really? How many of those are you selling?
I probably sell 20, 30 a week, maybe. Sometimes, depending on wedding season.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we have, they start early in spring through fall is a big wedding season. And it slows down a little bit in the wintertime, but not much.
So 20 to 30 a week of the sets.
Well, it can be just a single or a set. The cupcake stand, usually people buy in a 3-tier stand, here, but they are sold individually as well.
So do you source out this wood and everything on your own?
Well, we pick up wood where we can.
Really? Okay.
It's repurposed. This is repurposed cedar, and we also do these stands in a repurposed pallet wood.
Oh yeah.
So
it's really gorgeous.
Thank you.
You did a great
job.
job.
So that's one of your things.
Yes.
And then
one of my things, we have the wood boxes here, and the reason why I brought that is the wood burning on the front. I wood burn to personalize all of the.
Gotta love this. So this would be like for table centerpieces or extra decorations or stuff.
Right, table centerpieces for weddings or during the holidays, every day.
Yeah.
The farm style look is really in right
It's
now,
very
so.
big. And so it's all rustic. Everything you do is more on the
really
rustic
is.
end.
It's very popular right now.
Tell us a little bit, backing up to Etsy. Tell us what Etsy is, and then if people wanted to order that, I mean, is that something that how long would it take to make and get?
Personally, my orders ship out within 14 days. I try to make it a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
It just depends on the owner. Etsy is an individual It's owned by
creation
individuals, have their own shops within Etsy.
Right. So Etsy provides the platform,
Right,
and then
exactly.
you come in as a manufacturer, and you say, okay, I'm selling rustic decorative stuff.
Right.
And it's targeted towards weddings for yours.
For mine.
For yours.
Yeah.
And the cool thing, I think, that as our viewers know, they're like, how would you find her? Well, Etsy has everything tagged and categorized.
Yes.
Right.
So if I'm looking for a dress, I can put dress. If I'm looking for
Raina Rhyme.
If I'm looking for
You can
Raina,
just-
I can find her that way.
Yeah.
I mean, so how long have you been on Etsy?
I opened my shop in 2014. I think it was fall of 2014.
Right at the
isn't it?
beginning. So how long have you been in this mode of making things like this?
Well, I've been doing this all my life.
Really?
I love to decorate. I love to entertain. Birthdays, we've had birthdays, weddings, bridal showers. I love to do that sort of thing. And you usually have to do that on a budget, obviously.
Yeah.
And you're home, we'd all like those unlimited funds, but you can't. So I just sort of, if you can reuse things, you repaint them.
Wow, that's
reuse
very,
them in different. There's all kinds of things around that I kind of.
Well, you see it and you visualize
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
So did you start doing it for a business before Etsy, or was Etsy really the
No,
start of
Etsy
your...
was the start of my business. Right.
Wow.
Yeah. I just actually it was a family friend, and I was constantly making things for around the house or for parties, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, you should sell your stuff. You would do great." And then, so that kind of sat in the back of my mind for a little while, and I was like, why not?
So does it still feel like, sometimes people have a hobby and then they turn it into a job and they're like, oh no, it feels like a job. Does it still feel like a hobby to you? Like, is it still fun and creative
Yeah,
for you?
it really is.
That's
Because
awesome.
everything is different, and then it's exciting actually with my customers.
Yes.
It's the biggest day of one of the biggest days of your life is your wedding. And it's really, really exciting. They're just, they're excited, so you're excited for them.
Of course, yes.
And it keeps the customer, my customer satisfaction,
Is good,
feeling
yeah.
is really good. I have really good reviews.
Yeah.
And it's because I actually care. I mean, I want their day, great.
Right.
Yeah. So now I heard a rumor that your cake stand was in the Super Bowl last year. So tell us about that.
Well, I just receive orders. They come online, and so my phone went off, and I was actually half asleep, and so I checked my phone, and I can't remember the exact title of the billing, kind of, of the person ordering. And it said San Francisco, NFL, and had all these. And I was like, oh my goodness, what is that? And of course, the Super Bowl's coming because I'm a football fan. And so I'm Googling the company that's ordering. And they handled all the
like decorating
and
events. Were they
for
an
the
event?
Event.
They were an
Wow.
event,
Like an event coordinator on a grander scale. But
So the biggest thing I think from that is, so what did that do for your business?
I don't know that it did a lot for my business.
What?
I don't know. I can't say that it did or it didn't. I obviously, I Instagram and everything,
Of
and I was
course.
just excited. I took my cake stands down in my favorite jersey.
Yes.
Perfect.
And all of that, because I've been a 49er fan forever. And so I didn't, as far as it advertising my business or anything, I didn't care. I was just excited that my creations were going to be at the Super Bowl. I mean, I would just be on myself.
I
It
love that
actually
you're
gives
so-
me chills kind of when you just said
Well,
that.
yeah, I mean, I think
that's
my
a big
little, and I'm
deal.
sure it was really by random,
No,
selection
not at all.
possibly.
These are very unique and very different.
They are, but I
Yeah.
mean, there's, it's Etsy.
I love you
Zillions
because
of
you're she's so modest and you're so down to earth. I love that. But you're very humble, and it's nice and pleasant to sit here and talk to you about this. And we're thinking, oh my God, the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And then she's like, yeah, I don't know if it really did anything to the business.
Well, I mean, it probably did. I don't know. That's a big deal.
Yeah,
It is a
of
big
course.
deal.
It's a huge deal, but I mean, where they're going going to be, but I was just happy I was just thrilled.
Yes.
I was like, oh my God, it was the 50th anniversary.
Oh,
too.
wow.
Yeah. So did you have to inscribe something special on that cake stand, or?
No, those went plain.
They went plain.
Yeah, plain would be just that.
Like
but
that.
yeah, they went plain,
Aw.
and so there was nothing to really.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
still.
Signify
So
that they
now,
were.
what about your ring toss idea? Tell us about that and where that led.
Okay, I think that I put that together. My daughter was getting married last year, and you know, you're looking for rustic games and things for. We had her rehearsal dinner, and so that's where I came up with that.
And what is it?
Yeah, what is the ring toss?
I'm sorry,
What is the idea?
it's just a. I don't have it with me.
That's okay.
That's okay.
There's beer bottles in them. You can also use milk bottles, and rope with rope handles, really cute. And we had a little engagement ring emblem put on the front. And I would burn ring toss, or you can have the last name put on them.
Yeah. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Excuse me.
And so now you just come up with all these ideas and then you create it. That's essentially what I'm hearing. The ring toss, these things.
Stands.
Right.
Yeah.
See, and I it's so hard and so foreign to get because I just don't think that way. You know, I see lots of things on Pinterest and things.
Well, yeah, I'm a Pinterester.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll admit I get a lot of things from Pinterest. It's great.
Well, it's one thing to see it and get the
So is them.
idea. It's another to create it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
To
Like
be
even
able
as
to
I'm
create
looking
it.
at these, they're not just nailed together. You screwed them together.
Yeah,
So
they're
these are
very
not-
good quality.
Yeah, I mean, using screws instead of nails. So
Right.
you're making sure that these are not going to fall apart in the middle of the reception.
Exactly. No, they're heavy duty.
Yeah,
they're
they
heavy
are.
wood. They're not like you can go to Michael's or Hobby Lobby.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, they're
What they
but
have,
they
yeah.
have. You know, there's the particle board
Right.
wood or the thin wood. These are wood.
That's amazing.
Like that's repurposed fencing or barn wood or something.
So
like that.
how do you get the wood? I would think that would be one of your biggest challenges is
It
coming
is.
up with enough repurposed product.
It really is. We've had friends tearing down fences or buildings, or and I've actually stopped people on the road.
Like, can I get your wood?
Oh yeah, where you go with that? Well, people actually have to pay to go to the dump when they replace their fencing.
Yeah.
Or their you know, a building, an old building
Yeah.
or something. So yeah, if I've seen them going down the road,
Yeah,
and
too
I'm
bad
like,
you
hey,
couldn't-
I would love to be able to just like put a note out there. Don't go
throw
into
away
the dump.
Yeah. Call
You don't
Rain
need to
Rhyme.
pay. Yes.
Put a big
pay for
sign up
that.
at the dump that says, "Want
I
to
would-
save yourself $50
Yeah.
or $100? Call
Right.
Raina."
Right.
So I have a quick question on this. So if I had an idea or something I saw on Pinterest,
Right.
could I email you on Etsy and say, "Are you able to make this?"
Oh yeah, of course.
Really?
Oh, of
my-
course. I take all kinds of special orders. I've done special orders. Oh yeah, of
Well, if you
course.
see Ashley Tate on there,
Okay.
then you'll know who it is.
Exactly.
What's your favorite? Like, what's your strangest request that you've ever had from someone wanting something?
Oh, I did have one. Gosh, I'm trying to remember what exactly it was, but it was large.
Oh.
And I was like, yeah, I think I could probably do that. But I mean, the shipping on that would be, I don't think that I could really ship it. So we had to,
Yeah.
Couldn't
we
do
had
it.
to pass
It
on
was
it.
something
That's
really
okay,
way
that's
big.
okay.
Yeah. People.
Yeah, it's hard for me to remember. I take a lot of orders all the time, but yeah, it was. I can't remember. I was like, wow, that's kind of large. I mean, it would be something you'd have to put together right
Yeah.
on
yeah.
site. you
Yeah.
So are you a solo operation?
No, not exactly. My husband, he does a lot of the woodworking.
I
for me. I
love
do.
it.
So we're kind of a team.
That's awesome.
that's
and yeah, he does a lot of. He does a lot of the putting together.
Yes.
I mean, I do sand. I do some cutting. I do.
Of course, but you're the businesswoman now. You're
Yes.
trying to take the orders.
Well,
and
actually, he
customer
does a
service.
little more these
Oh, he
days.
does?
since I
You're busy.
yeah, I am.
Well, and
I
that
do.
takes a lot. The customer service alone, with all your, it's not just taking the order; it's following up, right? And
right.
actually creating it.
Right.
Let's ask in our last minute. I can't
Okay.
believe how fast this
No
has gone.
kidding.
Well, it looks like you've got some chalk paint. How
Right.
did you happen to start selling that?
So I started. I've done painting for a long time, different types of painting. I love chalk paint because there's no sanding involved
forgiving.
and not a lot of prep work to it.
Oh.
So I actually started redoing furniture, chalk painting furniture. I do that on the side as well.
Oh, wow.
And so some of the bigger name and bigger brands are quite expensive.
They're very expensive.
And I was like, well, that kind of cuts your profits, and it kind of, I mean, you know, then you're charging people, which I have. The one thing about all of my items are very reasonably priced. But anyways, my furniture, I pick up furniture very inexpensively. Anyways, and so I started making my own chalk paint.
Okay, well, all of this you can find on Raina's website, which is
busymindcreations.com.
busymindcreation.com, and also on your Etsy
My
site.
Etsy shop is actually My Busy Mind Creations.
My Busy Minds Creations.
On Etsy.
So you're going to want to look at that on Etsy. You're going to want to go to the website because this is really interesting and really good resources for you. What a great day we've had. Raina, thanks so much for coming in. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And of course, we thank you for watching us right here on the forum, and we'll see you again next week.